Hello, Steve White, Steve Art 39. Well, this is technically the first Star Trek model I ever owned. It belonged to a father of a friend of mine. I managed to buy it off him, but unfortunately I treated it like a toy and destroyed it, and this is all I have left. But after that I made a lot of models, well, a few, and I wasn't really happy with how they went, but I kept a lot of them in storage in tubs and stuff, and I had to go through them today to look for something, and I thought I'm going to make a little video about them because I want to show it to some of the Facebook groups who are into modelling and stuff, because I just want to see what people think. And again, I made them when I was a kid. So first off, we have the Enterprise Bridge. This is the 25th anniversary edition, the re-release, not the original. And I loved it, even though it had 3 of the consoles missing and only had 3 members of the crew when there should have been more. I believe that reissue has the whole bridge and all the crew, but this was pretty awesome. I loved the detail, all the decals for all the consoles, all the information was there, and I had a lot of fun making it. Now, unfortunately, I didn't actually finish it. Basically, I still do the colouring on the rails and have put a proper floor in. That's just cardboard. So I was very impatient with some of my models. I just wanted to get them to a state where I could look at them all. So I missed a lot of steps and ruined a few just for being impatient. But this is my favourite just because we never had a play set, and this is the closest that you had, unless you had the one from the motion picture, which was like half a play set and not accurate anyway. But this one was fairly accurate, and I really loved making it. And its sister, which is sort of the same scale, was the Shuttlecraft. Now, I didn't get any further with this one either. I didn't finish it as well. But I love that they're the same scale, and I always wanted to get more figures to put in and fill the shuttle with figures. So, yep. First one I really feel like I finished was the original Enterprise. I didn't mind how this one came out. Now this one again is 20 years old. It's been broken so many times. Most people know that the nacelles are very easy to break. They've got wire holding them on, but yep. It survived. The main thing is it survived, but the only thing I liked about this was the grid lines were problematic. The original Enterprise didn't have one. They drew them on in pencil and it got put on in artwork later, and the model itself had very strong lines. I just painted on a lot of paint and then sanded it down so the original plastic showed on the grid lines, and I puttied up some of the Bridgestone to make it look more like the one in the show. That's about all I did. Everything else was pretty much just as the model was. Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know, I just, this is how I thought the Enterprise looked. I thought the Enterprise was white. I thought the nacelle, buzzard nacelle things were red, and they're not. So I know it's not accurate, but it's how a lot of people saw the Enterprise, because when we saw it on screen, it was faded, the effects work was faded, due to the compositing it was washed out and it looked white when it was really grey, so forth and so on. And then the next, of course, is the movie Enterprise. Now, this is all that remains of the 1701. I made a 1701 and a 1701A. This one got broken so many times I couldn't repair it, so I figured I'll just make it into a damaged ship just for the fun of it. So it's got a lot of battle damage, and this is all that survived. And this one also has not really survived. It kind of has a similar story to the original, the real model. I originally painted it up and it looked okay, but I wasn't happy with it, and I redid it, and I started painting it with white paint, but the paint wasn't good, and I tried to remove it and I never finished. It was too thick, it just didn't go on right, and I ended up just leaving it like this. And the only thing I like about it is that like in Star Trek 6 where the Enterprise gets shot and goes right through, I created a little bit of battle damage, and I did like how that worked. But yeah, so I kind of ruined it. Kind of like in Star Trek 4, they repainted the ship on one side for that final shot of the Enterprise going to warp, and they painted over all the original work, which was better, which like mine was as well. And then they had to redo the whole thing when they got onto Star Trek 5. But yeah, it hasn't really survived. But the only thing I did do, which I liked, was I did put in a Shuttle Bay, which is, of course, coming apart. It's hard to see, but there is a little Shuttle Bay in there. I can't even get light in there. But yeah. Because, you know, we all love the shuttles now. This was white. Unfortunately, I didn't know the damage sun could do to models. So some of the models that I didn't paint that were modelled in the same colour as the ships, I thought I could just leave them in the original plastic and didn't realise they were going to go yellow. So yeah, unfortunately, that needs to be repainted. Now, the Excelsior went a little better. But it's bizarre, this paint, I swear to God, it was white. And it yellowed as it got older. But this is one of the ones I was happier with. And the battle damage is only on there because the decal was scratched off. And I couldn't repair it. So I decided to cover it with battle damage. And now, another example of, well, I'll get into it. I had a lot of fun doing the Enterprise D because it was modelled in the accurate colour of the model. It doesn't appear this colour on screen because, like a lot of the models, they kind of filtered out the colour and washed them all out a bit. Particularly with the motion picture, the Vulcan shuttle, which I meant to show actually. This appears white or grey on screen, but it was actually kind of a pink and orange. So I originally thought I could put it together and keep it in this colour because I thought this was the colour it was modelled in. But then I found out it was pink and I realised I had to paint it, but I still never did it. But one day, I think a lot of modelers say one day. I'm sure they have a lot of projects, but this was excruciating, painting all the windows, especially on the neck. It took forever, but I did them all. And I was really happy with it. I displayed this for years. I loved it. Unfortunately, I didn't know the sun would destroy it. So yeah, that's the colour the model should be, and that's the colour it is thanks to the sun. Which is a pity because I do feel like I did a good job of the windows and the paint. And I really did love having this one on display. A lot of people saw it and thought it was good. But and alas, if you listen to the lovely rattle, that's because the join that puts the two together on the neck broke. So now it's two separate pieces. I've been thinking of maybe trying to make it into a diorama of the Enterprise D after that crashed in Generations. But that still wouldn't explain why it's green. So I don't know what I'm doing with that. And I jumped forward. I was supposed to go to the movie ships. Now, this was the Katinga model from Star Trek 1 that was actually repainted for Star Trek 6. And I did feel like I did a decent job on this. It was the only one I actually used airbrushing to paint it initially, but then I just ended up kind of weathering it anyway. And I thought it turned out okay. Unfortunately, it's broken, like most of mine are. But yeah, so I did the battle damage from Star Trek 6, and I just felt like it came out okay. Same with the Bird of Prey, which is broken, unfortunately. But yeah, I painted this by hand, and I thought the weathering was okay. But yeah, same problem. Didn't survive. Although they could all be repaired. But I like the way that came out. I think the Klingon ships are the only ships you can kind of get away with painting by hand. The Federation ships are always clean and a lot of detail. Now I guess we get to the last one, which is the Voyager. And this was the last model I think I made, and probably the one I was happiest with, because I just think it came out fairly well. All the detail was fine. It wasn't too difficult. And I managed to find a grey that I felt looked like the Voyager on screen. And I love that it had clear windows. And yeah, I just felt like it came out okay. So it was the only one I was really happy with. And I just realised I put my finger in front of the microphone, so probably none of the audio just came out in that. So I'm probably going to have to do all this again. Great. I'll listen to it and see. So this might end up being posted. It might not. What else was there? Oh, the tiny little bird of prey from the Adversary set from the Next Generation. And again, this is from the Adversary, the three-piece original series A and D, which I also thought of turning into a diorama once it got smashed to the point that the Sorcerer was the only part that survived. I thought, well, maybe I can turn that into something and paint that up on its own. Never finished it. So that's all that survived of my model making years. And I don't know, I've seen a lot of people post pictures of models online they're quite proud of, and I don't think mine are any worse than theirs, so I thought, well, screw it. I'm just going to put up a little video because I enjoyed making these. They meant a lot to me when I was a kid, and I'm glad that to some extent they've survived and I still have them. And some of them I'll fix and probably display them one day with some newer ones that are better made, and just explain to people I made them when I was a kid, and hope that's a good enough explanation for why they look like crap. I'm definitely going to redo this or finish this off, because unlike the others, I don't know, it's just a lot easier to finish off because I didn't finish painting it in the first place. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, let me know about your model experiences. Yeah. Thanks, bye.